Welcome to episode 7 of the EastTO Happy Hour podcast in season 1. I'm Shane Little.
And I'm Jenny Simon.
And we are co-hosts of the EastTO Happy Hour podcast. We are realtors with the Richards Group Remax Hallmark, and we live, breathe, and work in the East End. We want to introduce all of you to our awesome friends, business owners, and interesting people that we know and are going to get to know in the neighborhood.
And because it's happy hour, we've decided that we're going to partner with local breweries, coffee shops, so we can have a cocktail or a drink with our new friends to get to know them a little bit better.
While supporting local. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy this episode. So hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the EastTO Happy Hour podcast. We're here with Matt and Rob from 100 Guys Who Care, and this week we have a IPA, the 8-track IPA from Radical Road. Right here. So cheers, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our table might be too long for those cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
We were told by Matt Foster that if he doesn't have an IPA, he's not coming. So
IPA or bust. That's what
I knew
said.
what
So-
I understood the assignment.
In the podcast industry, just anyone who's listening, Matt Foster has the most aggressive rider out of anybody. It's got to be blue M&Ms. It's IPAs.
Yeah.
It's a whole nightmare.
I ate them already.
You ate them already. They're already gone.
Were they satisfactory?
Yeah.
No.
They weren't the peanut kind. What?
That's right.
Well, welcome, guys. Thanks so much for coming. And why don't we start off? Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about 100 Guys Who Care, and we'll go from there.
Well, that's a good thing for Rob to answer.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, no, Matt and I started the 100 Guys Who Care. Our first event was early 2019. We run them 4 times a year. Our first event was January 2019 in the middle of a blizzard. And
Yeah.
We still managed to get 10 or 12 guys out to that first event.
Yeah.
We could tell right off the bat there was a lot of enthusiasm to kind of grow the group.
Yeah.
It came out of a dinner that Matt and I had just casually together a few months prior to that event. I had heard the idea from a friend of my father-in-law who ran a group, another different group in Ontario, and I loved the concept and mentioned it to Matt over dinner. And to his credit, he followed up the next day and said, seriously, we got to give this a shot. This is an awesome format for the East End. The East End deserves for us to kind of give this a shot. And then it went live from there.
And so, what is the concept? So it's you guys, and obviously we know, but I mean, like you guys
100
pick a
guys.
few charities. It's 100 guys, or
The goal is 100 guys.
Yes.
So yeah, we started with 10. It was all about sort of casually building and sort of growing the group organically. Just people who wanted to be there. No sort of leashes or strings attached. Like
Yep.
It was just fun. And the idea is just to every 4 months get together, have some beers with people you know, and then while we're there, we vote on a charity and pick a charity and then support them and sort of share in our good fortune, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you say vote on a charity. So is it like you pick names from a hat, or does everyone come and they say like put your
We literally pick names from a hat.
okay?
Literally, yeah. Sometimes it's a beer glass, sometimes it's a beer jug, but that's sort of the idea.
something related to beer, the beer boot.
Well, it's
Anything beer, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, IPA only.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sort of casual idea is, we'll sort of open up to the group and say, which charity would you guys like to support? Guys or girls will write it down, and then it just goes into a hat, and we pick 3, and then from the 3 that are selected, everybody stands up and sort of says like an elevator pitch for the charity and sort of why it means something to them, and sort of some of the work that they've done and so on, and why it would be great for our group to support, and then we vote. And whoever gets the most votes is the one that's selected that quarter.
Right.
There was another group. We were looking at different 100 Guys Who Care groups as sort of inspiration and how the model could work. And there's different.
This is an important conversation, and our dog's really ruining it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No, there's different variations on how the model works, and some of them have charities come in and present. So they'll have 3 charities come in and present, and then the members will vote, and one charity will.
That's kind of uncomfortable for the people that don't get it.
Totally.
And we thought
it was.
Sorry, sick kids, you're voted off.
Yeah.
What? What are you, monsters?
Yeah.
You can't
so-
do that.
No.
in sort of in the spirit of keeping this casual and low pressure and, you know, good vibes only, we thought, as a group, why don't we nominate 3? We'll let each of the guys who nominate that charity give a bit of an elevator pitch. We'll vote amongst ourselves. And then the next day, the charity will notice. They'll either get an envelope full of checks arrive at their door, or more so these days, they get a whole bunch of $100 donations hitting their online
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then do you guys like write it like from 100 Guys Who Care, Toronto East,
and
so they know?
So it's track, so we can track it, and they know that it's from us. And then like we've literally had like phone calls with these charities the next morning, and they've sort of opened their inboxes, and there's like, $6,000 from us.
That's amazing.
And it's just
That's
like
so cool.
it's just a surprise, and like literally like stories of. Like I think after our first meeting, it was only 10 of us at our first meeting, and so it was $1,000. And we walked into this charity a couple of days later. It was Rob that went through, and there was people in tears. Like they were just so touched that one, that they were noticed, and two, that that it was just sort of presented in this way. Like it was no strings attached. Like it was just so great.
And the kind of comments we get are like, we feel invisible sometimes. We're sort of toiling away in this work that's really important, but we don't always feel seen, the charity. Mm-hmm. And to have a group called the 100 Guys Who Care East Toronto, you know, donate $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 kind of out of nowhere. Okay, we feel seen, we feel supported. Like we didn't even know you guys existed. It's a pretty powerful message that I think we can deliver as a group to these charities. And occasionally they've said, it's happened multiple times where they've said, we're in the middle of budgeting like our next quarter's programming for the kids, and this changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like we were deciding which programs we can't run.
Yeah.
And now we can.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. I mean, that they're going to be getting these donations.
They have no
and
idea.
They kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah.
And what's cool is like it's our membership that does the nominating, and there's always a story as to why. And so like they've got a personal connection, or like I remember at one point we donated to a food bank that it's based in one of the public schools in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And one of the guys sent me an email the next day and said how much it meant to him, because when he was a kid, he had an experience similar to it. Like it's nice when you sort of get those connections. Like
That's really nice.
it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's very cool, especially when it hits close to home like that. And like, there's a lot of ways that you can choose to kind of spend your social time, and you can play hockey, you can just go out for beers, period. But the fact that you're getting people to do that, and that money is going towards a good cause.
Yeah.
So you guys started in early 2019, which is kind of a funny time in hindsight now to start.
Yeah.
Right?
You wouldn't have thought that at the time. It felt like the right time.
That's right.
Yeah, like 2/3 of your existence have been during COVID, basically.
That's
totally right.
Yeah.
Walk us through that first year. How did that look? What did your growth look like? And then what challenges did you deal with during COVID?
Yeah.
And what did that look like?
Well, that's a great question, Shane. So
He's very good at them.
So for our first meeting, as I said, we started with 10, and then second and third, it just kept growing, and like the excitement kept growing, and it was, growth was fast. And so our last meeting pre-COVID was January 2020. And like for that one, we had like 60 people register or something.
Wow,
We grew by about 10 per meeting. So like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, roughly.
Yeah.
If not a little bit better.
That's awesome.
So we had a lot of momentum, and then hit the COVID brick wall.
And right at the beginning, we had to cancel. Like we had a meeting, like our next.
Probably that March, right?
It was, It was like a week later, and then actually we canceled it sort of last minute, because there was that. Everyone sort of thought, it's only going to be a week. Lockdown's only going to be 2 weeks.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it sort of became like, the writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to happen. So we canceled it, and our registration was high for that, and people were excited, and so we quickly shifted and we went online.
Yeah.
And it was sort of the right time for us, and the charity that we picked was Michael Guerin, and sort of their sort of COVID response.
Really fun,
Yeah.
That's right.
And
So what did the online look like?
so for that one, did we do like an online Zoom thing?
We experimented with some different models, but it was mostly email based.
Yeah, for that one.
Yeah, here's the nominated charities that we received by email from the members.
Yeah.
Guys would vote by email. Sometimes we would just nominate. It just felt right at that time to nominate, for example, Michael Guerin's.
Yeah,
So
for that
really
one.
fun. We supported them a couple of times through this. And to the testament of the group, like there was a core group of 15 or 20 that we had some charities come and present to us on a Zoom call. We had some different presentations. We gathered socially as a group on Zoom, and there was a core group that just
kept coming.
That's
amazing.
And, just we're totally committed to keeping this thing going. And I think a number of other groups sort of got mothballed through this.
Yeah.
And I think we only missed one quarterly donation to a charity.
Yeah.
I think through all of COVID.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's pretty powerful too. Like once you have like that email database, like you're creating this, group of
That's right.
people that are interested in being charitable, and so that's powerful in itself. But so now that restrictions are lifted, I think we went to in November it
was November. We did it was our first in person since COVID, and that was at Black Lab. And that's another thing I'll actually say is for every meeting we have, we try to go to a different venue in the area, just as one to sort of introduce the guys and girls to different venues, but also to help support the businesses that do so much in our area. And we tend to sort of slant towards breweries and stuff like that for different reasons. One of them is that
I understand.
One of them is that so we enjoy the beer, but it's also they tend to have a lot of space for us, which is good.
Totally. They're not super they're not like a typical restaurant where they're not super slammed every night. Like
that's right. You don't have to worry about minimums and so on. So they tend to be easier.
Yeah.
But it's also a nice thing just to sort of get out and try new places and new things and just sort of expose some of these great East End things, restaurants and businesses that we know about that other people might not. And so that's always been great.
The breweries and the restaurants are happy because they get exposure to a bunch of East End guys that might come out for dinner, the next week with their family or whatever. But it's
pick up more beer to go.
That's right. It's great exposure for them.
Yeah.
All the guys get some social time in. They get out of the house. They have a few beers. They network a bit.
Yeah.
The charities win. It's just one of those models that it just feels like everybody's a winner.
Yeah.
Through this.
Totally.
And one of the powerful thing that we started right from the beginning, we did it, I believe, is the winning charity or the selected charity would kick off the next meeting and come in person and talk about what it meant to them, where the funds went.
Yeah.
Because it really kind of completes the circle to the guys in the room. It reminds them why this is important.
That's awesome.
You write a check and then kind of easy to forget. You get your tax receipt, you file it away and hope to remember at tax time next year. But but to hear the personal impact.
Yeah.
Like we had a really touching story at our last event where the lady who runs I'm going to get the name wrong. Birchmount Bluffs Community Center.
Yeah, that's right.
Talked about how we gathered in November, and the proceeds, like $2,500, $2,700.
Yeah.
That was paid for fresh fruits and sort of meat food baskets at Christmas time to sort of a number of the needy families that
That's awesome.
around in their community. And she said it basically covered the budget for that whole program for sort of Christmas deliveries of, I guess, for the month of fresh fruits and foods.
It was a shocking number of families that like relatively not a ton of money went to support. Like it was.
We've learned how some of these charities can stretch $1 a mile to provide their services because they have to.
They totally have to, right? That's something that I think they get really good at. And it's so cool what you guys are doing because it brings awareness. Like you said, it closes the loop. It makes it real. And then you kind of realize, like, I think we try and live as waste-free as possible, right? But whatever it is, like Uber Eats, like whatever, right? There's all this extra money that you're spending that if you just take a little bit of it and once every quarter are a little bit more socially aware, it makes a big difference.
Well, and it was important to not be too much and to not ask for too much. And we're lucky people. And thank goodness, like, we have an extra $100 that we can share, and it's not like it's 12 months a year. It's just like it's quarterly, and it's easy that way, and it's fun, and it's not too much.
It's palatable, right? You go, okay, meeting 4 times a year. I'm going to give some money. I'm going to connect. I will say I went to the Black Lab Brewery.
Yeah.
100 guys, and what I can say is you're efficient. We were like eating dinner and I was like, hey, well, let's just go, like, let's just have dessert. And then like we get there and you guys are like, oh no, we're just like close shop. And I was like, wait,
At like 8:30 or something.
what?
Yeah.
And like you guys are like, no, we don't mess around. But I like that because we also are all busy.
Yeah.
When you think about I have something to do, I don't want to have to be there for 3 hours and be tied to this and make it feel like a chore. Go for a beer, give a little money, feel really good, hear some stories, connect, and you're gone.
Yeah.
It's infrequent enough and it's short enough and it's run tight enough.
But it's
that you actually
so
look
smart.
forward to it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's something that people look forward to. It's not a burden.
That's what it is. And I've gone to charity events where you're like, okay,
It's too long.
and it feels really daunting. Like by the time you're done a full work day, if you've got kids, you're putting them down and you're like, I can't go to something for 3 hours in a week.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and that was our driving. That was sort of our concept, simple concept from the beginning. It's $100 4 times a year for an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
so it's 7 to 8 is the formal program. If you want to show up at 6 and have a bite to eat, if you want to stay after and have a beer, that's up to you. But we'll commit to keeping you here no longer than an hour. And I think guys like that. You know, it's manageable. And most of the guys, I would say, stay around for a beer after because it's a nice environment and they're having fun.
Yeah.
But
and
we don't want to
there's-
ask too much of the guys.
Yeah, and there's some people that have to be home for their kids' bedtime or are on their way home from work and showing up in their work attire and just want to get home. Like we didn't want to make it hard. We wanted to make it easy and fun and you want to remove all of the sandpaper, right?
Yeah,
You
all
just
the
want to be
excuses,
nice.
all that extra.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
everything else you got to do
You
is
can
like
be in,
another
you can be
barrier,
out.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'll also say, as a female coming in, I was like, 100 guys who care. Like, this is, I don't know. And like, it's like,
Which is frowned upon, by the way.
Yes,
Guys
it's very, they were very angry that I showed up. No, but like, it was so nice. But it was like a more welcoming environment. Like, I would say, like, there's some women's only events that if a man came in, everyone would be like, like the record scratches and everyone stares. Where like, you guys are like, yeah, come on in, have a beer. Like, we'll take your money. Like, it's great. It was easy.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's 100 guys who care by name more than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was because there's already 100 women who care in the East End.
Yeah.
So they beat us to it. And
So it's not just a clever name.
right. And we That's right. And we were sort of following suit with all of these other programs that are they're literally around the world. Like
Yeah.
And actually, what we started to learn when we started this thing was just how many there were. Like almost every town, city across North America for sure has something like it.
And we did debate that. Like Matt and I did talk with it early on. Is it exclusionary to call it 100 guys who care? Should we call it 100 people who care? 100 folks who care? And it's not only men that are welcome, of course. Anyone's welcome to come, but it's almost like it's interesting to see the reaction of the charities when the money's coming from 100 guys who care.
Yeah.
Even though it's not only men at the events.
Yeah.
I don't know. It almost delivers a different kind of message.
I
think.
agree.
Yeah.
I've thought that, and I think we've mentioned it before at the office. But it's like I think it's meaningful when you hear of 100 men getting together, caring about something. It's really wonderful to hear because you feel like I don't know. It becomes more impactful. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting what we talked a little bit before we started recording, but you were talking about moving to the East End. How part of it was you wanted to be involved more in the community as well and kind of get out there. So I thought that was an interesting aspect. And can you guys talk a little bit? So I think you've got different experiences. And for those who don't know, Matt Foster works with us at the Riches Group.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Riches Group.
We made him wear the shirt.
Yeah.
I actually thought when I showed up today, I'm like, I wonder if Shane or Jenny's going to be wearing the exact same sweatshirt.
Joke's on you. We're not.
Yeah.
I thought we were contractually obligated.
Yeah, exactly. Any media appearances have to have it. But yeah, so the East End I think is going to be a little bit different to you than to you. So maybe Matt, if you want to go first, like what did the East End mean to you? How important is it to be involved in the community, support those local businesses?
Yeah.
I don't really know if I know your story. I know you've been here for a long time, but were you beach born and raised or what?
No. Yeah, I sort of grew up in the suburbs in the West End in Mississauga, and
Sorry, this meeting is over. Sorry, guys.
got the bad
The podcast is
information.
completely cut.
He slipped through.
Yeah.
I am so ashamed of myself.
There's a Westie in here.
The podcast has been a rug pulled.
Yeah, I'm from Barrie, so it's okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I bring the East blood
Yeah, that's right.
throughout here.
Yeah, and then we moved to Ottawa. My wife and I moved to Ottawa and spent 7 years there. And when our goal was always to move home back to Toronto. And when we were coming back, all of our friends and we're all in the East End, and it was just a natural place for us to go. And so we landed in the beach, and I guess at this point we're sort of 10 plus years in, so I don't know at what point you become a beacher, but I sort of feel like I am.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Not officially.
Not
no,
like,
not
yeah,
officially.
not
No,
like Jenny
I'm just
Simon.
joking. I'm
Not
joking.
like Jenny Simon, but so the East End is home, and like it'll always be home at this point, I think.
Yeah.
And
10 years,
so-
you get your badge.
I
You
hope
got
so.
your badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just to be able to sort of support your home, right, and make your home a little bit nicer for other people to live in, and sort of contribute that way is like, God, what a
And
nice
there's so
thing.
much in the East End too, right? Like
Oh,
we were
yeah.
talking with that about someone about the podcast, and they were asking us about like how are you going to keep getting guests? And it's like at first we were kind of overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and then we started thinking like it's almost unlimited, and we try to make a point to go to as many restaurants as we can.
Yeah.
And you could go once a week for every week, and you would never run out of options, right? So it's
Ever.
so cool.
Ever.
No,
Yeah.
so
Do
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's sort of it. Like that's sort of part of this, and like there's these restaurants that we can support with our initiative, and there's these charities that, as Rob was saying before, sometimes don't feel seen, and they do such amazing work. This is a great way for us to support them a little
That's
bit
really good.
financially.
Yeah.
But then also, like, even more important sometimes is just the magnifying glass that we're able to sort of to put on them, and the spotlight just to say, we see you and thank you. Like it's
Yeah, thanks for feeding people fresh fruits and vegetables that they probably didn't get to have.
they wouldn't have had.
That's incredible.
Incredible.
We take these like little things for granted every day, and it's
Yeah.
nice to have people to shine a light on things like this,
Yeah.
because it is really simple stuff, and it's like $100 every 3 months. Like it means something to so many people.
So many.
Yeah.
And these charities are literally in our neighborhood, and we drive past them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a men's shelter just around the corner from Black Lab on on Leslie.
Yeah, and let's like
And-
the Salvation Army, I think.
Yeah, and I've driven past it a million times. I had no idea it was there until we put that spotlight on it.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then so Rob, so you were living downtown before, moved to the East End in 2015. Why did you guys choose the East End? What kind of brought you to that area, and how did that go about?
Yeah, no, I was born and raised in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Okay.
And my wife is from Durham region, from Whitby. And so we were both working downtown, living in my condo at Yonge and Bloor, so Midtown. And we were ready to start looking for a house and raise a family. And we looked all over the city. We looked in High Park and Midtown and Beaches and Leslieville and Port Credit. And we just kept coming back to the beach and to the East End, all over the East End. It just had such a unique vibe and feel, such a diverse mosaic of restaurants and cultures and experience. Like, it's fantastic, and it's so family friendly. You'd go to any restaurant on the beach at any time. It's full of kids and dogs half the time, and any other part of the city that we would go, we wouldn't have the same feel.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it was a no-brainer for us to come here.
Yeah.
And then once we settled in here, I was driving downtown we were both driving downtown every day to work and back, just parachuting in, parachuting back, and I wasn't really putting down roots as much as I'd like to. I like to be connected with my community. That's how I was raised in kind of small town. And Matt and I, he was our agent when we bought our house, and we were out for dinner, and this concept came up, and we sort of noodled on it and thought, this is just the perfect way to sort of put down more roots in my community, it just felt like the right thing to do. I couldn't live without doing that.
Do you remember where that dinner was?
Yeah, it was at
Hogtown?
Hogtown School.
Oh.
Yeah, right by the office.
In the beach there?
Just
Yeah,
closed,
that's right.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Rest
closed
in
it.
peace, yeah. Just
Yeah,
closed.
oh, really?
Yeah, they opened one up downtown at St. Lawrence Market, I was living in St. Lawrence Market at the time, and
Yeah.
Hogtown was good. It was
Yeah.
I was thinking you guys were going to say
Fantastic.
Sauvignon. I was like, well, of course. It's where everyone eats in the beach.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Also a fantastic restaurant.
So good.
Might be my wife's favorite in the beach, Sauvignon.
It's
Yeah.
like
Just so
really,
reliable,
if
yeah.
you live in the beach, it's like the best place to go.
Yeah.
We're going for dinner tonight, and we're going to Sauvignon.
Yeah.
Well, like, it kind of pleases everybody.
Yeah, and we found a place that we won't mention because we will go back and it's a fantastic restaurant. But we were like, oh, this is like Sauvignon, like West, like when we moved in here, and we're like, oh, this is gonna be like our local, whatever.
Can't wait! I'm gonna go here once a week.
And we started to, but then what we realized is they don't have like a dish like the orecchiette or like the schnitzel that you can just get every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like a good experience, but it's like
French
Right.
food where you leave and you're like, don't touch me. Like, I'm so full of butter. Like,
But again, great restaurant.
It's so good. The ambiance is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can't be your local because Sauvignon just has those like that. Or I can eat the orecchiette every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Jenny would like it because it'd be like 450 pounds. But yeah, it's just
a fun orecchiette fact. One of my first experiences. Well, not my first experience with Shane, but like introducing Shane to like my circle of beaches best friends that I've known since we were in Williamson Road. And I was like, okay, you're meeting Maggie and Chris. We're going to go out for dinner. I got a spot at Sauvignon. And it was like a really hot summer's day.
Yeah.
Like, and we were like, well, let's sit on the patio. It was still COVID. Like, inside with air conditioning wasn't an option. And so we were sitting there and Shane's like, I'll have the orecchiette. And I was like, you're having a hot bowl of steaming pasta on like a 40-degree night? Are you okay? He's like, it's the best. And so he decided this before. We went to the restaurant an hour before our dinner, and he asked them to pre-make the orecchiette and put it in the freezer. So it would be cold and coagulated.
I wanted like the next day orecchiette, but I wanted it that day.
But if you've ever
Right.
had the orecchiette...
If you ever take the orecchiette home, it's like...
If you ever...
That is such a weird story.
I know.
To go in and pre-order it so that they can cool
it gets
down.
weirder. It gets weirder because like one thing. Well, our like anyone who's listening to the podcast and probably will notice that we get like really hot and then we like probably like does like a weird cutout and then like the windows open and we're like, oh.
Yeah.
But we're kind of sweaty people, and so we went pre-ordered and they were like, I don't understand. You want us to make it now? He's like, yes, make it now, and immediately put it in the freezer. I need it to coagulate, and they were like,
What?
They were very confused,
Yeah.
And so we went out for dinner, and then he's like, I'll have the orecchiette from the freezer. And my friend's like, what's the deal with this guy? Like, who's lighting him? And I'm like, I did. And it was still hot. And then he started sweating, and then it was like...
It was
this
still
whole
hot
thing.
after.
Well, it was spicy too, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But,
So anyways, that's a great orecchiette story.
yeah, but I know you're a foodie. Like, what's your favorite spot in beach, East End? Like, what are you on right now?
Oh yeah, Matt runs circles around me on this topic. I'm interested to hear the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, usually when we go for dinner in the East End, it's usually in Leslieville. Like, we live in the beach and we go out in Leslieville.
Yeah.
I think that's what normally happens. That's like the natural progression.
Do you want to take a beer break? Is that what you're...
I'm just doing this.
A crack break?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we do like, I'll give some love to some beach restaurants, maybe that don't get a lot of spotlights. There's the Beach Tree on Kingston Road.
So good.
So good.
I second that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
Can't go wrong.
And that's like, it's this tiny little restaurant that, it just makes
They're
great food.
pumping out like really like top-notch dishes.
Yeah.
You're like in the middle of the Upper Beach. You don't think you're gonna get, and you're like, this is like legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really good one. Beaches Brew. That's a great.
Beaches Brew is solid, man.
Solid.
It is
I like what
solid.
they did with that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if you just want a hamburger, it's a great hamburger.
Is it? I've never had their hamburger there.
It's a good hamburger. Yeah. And the beer is great. So it's like a win.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Lying on the beach, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's a classic.
Oh, lying on the beach.
Yeah, I
it's
know, yeah, still lying.
I thought you meant like
Still
lying on the
now,
beach.
but that's how you know you're. You know what? You know what? You got a student
Yeah.
beacher card.
I should have said the goof.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
No, if you know, you call it the line on the beach.
Yeah.
Call it the Sky Dome. And
Yeah,
we know.
that's right.
We know you're Torontonians.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you? So you were at Young and Bloor 2014. When did you move to Toronto? Like how long were you at Young and Bloor for?
I graduated in 2005.
Yeah.
So I was always in a small condo in Young and Bloor from 2005 right until 2014. Halfway through that time, a little bit later actually, but my wife joined me in 2012 or 2013. And
She's
then
like, get me out of here. We
Yeah.
got something bigger. This is insane.
it was that period in your life when you're just working a lot. All you need from a condo is to be close to work and convenient, easy to maintain.
Yeah.
Just as the most easy to maintain as possible. And so that's what that was. And then we were ready to buy a house and move in and start a family. And that's when it was just completely obvious that we should head to go east.
Yeah. And how did you guys meet up?
It was a sign call on a listing on Neville Park.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were already you were deep beaches already. Like you were looking.
You were like, I'm going as far east as I can.
Yeah.
So that's what it was, and then I guess we sort of hit it off, and we started to see stuff all over the area, and ultimately, they bought on my street. And
were you on Vic Park at the time?
So you guys are neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors. And actually now since we moved, we're
Even
closer neighbors.
Yeah.
We're literally across the street.
That's so
and
nice.
our daughters are best
So you're
friends.
excited for his pool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
My daughter is especially excited for his pool. I'm also excited that my daughter's excited for his pool.
Yeah, you're like, I get free daycare. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
If you could staff it with a lifeguard for the summer too, that would be wonderful.
That's
You
right.
should just outsource it, man. Get the lifeguard there. You guys can take off, do your thing. And
Do you guys have are you guys lifeguards?
I
Sorry,
actually
the
was
mic
certified
cut
at
out.
one
I can't
point.
hear you. You can leave now.
To be continued.
We travel too much. You don't want us to. Yeah.
You don't want me.
We're
You don't want me teaching your kids anything.
That's right.
Trust me.
That's awesome.
Well, I love the East End. I love that you're pushing East End charities up, because I think that that's a really strong message, and I think I talk about this all the time on our podcast, and I talk about it a lot with everybody I know from the East End, because I feel like the East End is a really special spot where we want to see our people do well, our businesses do well. If you're doing right by others, we want to see other people, we want to champion different things. So what are some of the the charities that you've seen that have really been the most impactful, that maybe people that are listening?
What's the best charity?
What's the best one? Screw the others, but I feel like, there's some that you've really shone a light on where you went, we really should lift this one up, because people aren't seeing them, because we see so many, and Michael Guerin is amazing. That's where I was born. I love Michael Guerin. Give him all my money. I'd love it. Sick Kids, amazing charities, but they have a lot of eyes on them.
They got
one thing we haven't focused on or emphasized is that we do suggest that guys nominate charities that are
East End.
Yeah.
So
that's important.
There's a lot of worthy charities, and we all know the names that a lot of us donate to every year, and they're well funded. But the goal of the group is really to support the charities that operate in our neighborhood.
Well, even when you say that, to be honest with you, my immediate thought is, how many charities could there be in the East End?
Shane, there's a lot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You think okay, there's maybe 3 charities, but
the answer is you'd be surprised, and I'm constantly surprised at the nominations that get thrown into the IPA, beer jug. There's a lot, and they operate right under our nose. And like Matt was saying, half the time they're invisible, but they're doing such critical work to support our community.
Yeah,
they're like the safety net of our community, and we rarely see them until
we're able to. We're lucky enough to be able to.
Yeah. Because I think we see these charities on a bigger scope. I think it's me, as an outsider, I don't get to see these, I'm not on the inside, but I see big charities and I go, okay, like Shane said, there's only a couple, and then you kind of go down the ladder, macro, micro, and we're you're feeding kids before they go to school so that they can focus in school, and these are stories that, first of all, I have been blessed that I never had to think of something like that, and to have this in our neighborhoods is really important.
Really important, and they're the ones that quite often don't get noticed, and literally food banks housed in public schools because
there's a need.
There's a need.
Yeah.
And
with the Bluffs Food Bank is another one.
Yeah, Bluffs Food Bank was one that we did.
Red Door Family Shelter we've actually supported a couple of times.
That was the most recent one.
That was the most recent one, and then one pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Red Door is a really important
and it's
shelter.
so important.
Yeah.
And Foster, you had mentioned you had a pretty touching interaction with them after.
Yeah. So and I sort of talked about it a little bit before, and it was they literally start to get these these notifications in their inbox, and from this, like, it's just like $100, $100, and it's like it's a surprise. And yeah, they and so we woke up that next morning, and there was an email from somebody from that group basically saying, like, thank you so much, and who the heck are you?
How the hell did you get my email address?
Can we please have a call to learn who you are and why you supported us, and like how did this happen?
Yeah,
You guys are like Batman, just like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But that's amazing that you guys get to do that too, right? Like these people aren't planning on this. It's like a wonderful surprise the next morning. They're like,
Yeah, I wish the whole group somehow could join us. Like, especially pre-COVID, we were able to go and visit these places in person. We aren't really able to do that through COVID because of COVID.
Yeah.
But it's really touching to go to a shelter or a food bank, and like, if nothing else, just to see the look on their face. You can tell how much it means, and they're proud to give you a tour and show you where the money's going and just demonstrate the work that they're doing. Like, it's
toothbrushes and socks, right?
Yeah.
It's
things that we
it's fresh
take
fruits.
for
It's
granted.
a food basket that. Yeah, there was a story that one of the charities came to present and told the story about a lot of their clientele do their groceries at the dollar store, and so this is the only opportunity in their budgets to be able to afford fresh food, and
it's so, like, at our most recent event, the room was, you could hear a pin drop while the lady spoke about her organization, and talking, and she did a wonderful job of sort of
the passion.
This is what poverty looks like in your neighborhood, guys, in your community, and with some really touching examples. Like, you got 3 kids and no iPads and no laptops because you can't afford them, and each of the kid have to submit their homework assignment digitally. So they're submitting their homework, they're doing their homework assignments and submitting them on their mother's cell phone.
Yeah.
And the mom works 3 part-time jobs around the clock and is somehow holding the family together. And each kid has to prepare their homework and submit it on their mother's cell phone because that's the only device in the home. And the family's relying heavily on the services of the community center.
Library.
That's crazy, man.
And
like, I've never heard a story like that. That's insane.
And she said it's almost everyone that uses their services lives in that kind of, and you can imagine how stressful that is.
Yeah.
To live like that.
Literally our backyard.
And it's,
But I was going to say, again, it's hyper local.
hyper
Local. That's super cool, guys.
Which is the most touching part about it.
That is so touching.
Yeah.
So what's next for 100 Guys? Like, are you going to ramp up the events again? Are you guys going to try and get like more boots on the ground, go to seafood shelters, like do some like those kind of events, or what's next?
Yeah, so our next sort of in-person event is coming up in June the 22nd.
Mark your calendar.
Perfect.
Yep.
Location TBD, but somewhere in the East End. We're just sort of figuring out that now.
Where would someone find that information? Like on your Instagram?
Oh, so we have an Instagram, and we need to do better at supporting the Instagram. But we have a website as well, and it's
I think if you Google 100 Guys Who Care East Toronto, it'll be at the top of Google, so you'll find it.
Gotta love Google, man.
So that's the next event. It's coming up in June, and the goal is, like, we had this great momentum, and COVID's held us back a bit, but we're determined to sort of rebuild and get back to where we were and exceed it. And our group is called 100 Guys Who Care, and our goal is to get to 100 or more. And like, how great would it be to for $10,000 to sort of
it makes a big impact.
$40,000 a year, basically, right? Like
40 grand,
yeah, that would be huge.
But like, for one charity to wake up in the morning and like little like tiny bluffs, fresh fruit baskets, holy moly, you'd give them
$10,000.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it is.
And what was it? So what was your last event? Like, how many was? I know it's been like stop go.
Yeah,
go,
so it's
like,
a lot of stop go.
Yeah.
So we were able to do one in the fall in November.
We had Murphy's Law recently too, right?
Yeah, and then we were going to do one in January, but there was the January lockdown, so we weren't able to. Right. And then the most recent one was in
March at Murphy's Law.
At Murphy's Law. and we were at about 25.
Yeah.
That's good.
It'll come back quick. It will.
For sure. Yeah.
Like even in November, like we again showed up late to that, so sorry about that. But we showed up late, but like everyone was so excited about the next one, like January, like the conversations
feel the
are going.
momentum.
So I think it'll take like 2 or 3 of those events, and I think you guys will probably go. It'll be exponential.
And if anyone listening to this is even remotely interested, go to our website, sign up, gets you on the distribution list. No obligation to come to the event, no obligation to donate, but at least you'll know of everything that we're doing, and you'll be on the list.
Yeah.
And it's easy.
That's exactly what I was going to ask next. I was like, okay, so how do we do this? How do we sign up? If I want to show up, I sign up on the distribution list. If I want to just not show up, sit at home in my pajamas and just give money, how do I do that too?
You can. So we send out emails after every event.
Right.
If you want to come to the event, any event that we have, you just register. Frankly, you can just show up if you want.
Okay.
And more the merrier. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your mom, bring your dad.
And we'll make sure there's a link in the show notes to the to our website.
Everything will be there. We'll link it to you.
We'll push on. Don't you worry about
don't
that.
you
Foster
worry.
knows. He knows. We're not shy.
We're shameless self promotion. Mr.
No, but actually, I mean, with the podcast like that, I mean, all joking aside, the whole deal of the podcast was shameless, like other people promotion. Like we just want to like push other people.
Yeah.
We want to shine a light on amazing East End people doing amazing things, and so all this podcast today is about is just talking about what you guys are doing and how amazing it is and how much it means to the community.
Yeah.
And to get more people to know that.
And what else? It's fun and it's easy, and it's always hard, when you don't know anybody and it's like the first time you're just sort of walking in and you feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not, because as soon as you walk in, everyone says hello and they invite you to sit with them. Like it's just such a cool group.
And it really impacted me because I realized the kind of guy who hears, okay, there's a bunch of middle-aged men, right?
You speak for yourself.
You lost me right there.
Okay.
I'm turning around.
Yeah, so maybe that's not a hook, but the kind of guy that hears about this concept and says, I need to be there. That sounds cool for me.
Yeah.
The kind of guy who reacts that way to a description of our event, the room is filled with guys like that.
Yeah.
And so it's a really awesome self-selected group of guys.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's our goal has always been make it fun, make it easy, and make it welcoming, and make guys want to come back.
Yeah.
And that's our goal. And we're really looking forward to rebuilding post-COVID momentum. And I think we're well on our way.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast, I'm telling you, will launch you guys into the stratosphere.
The amount of listeners that we have, we've reached over 1 million listeners.
Yeah, right.
Just in the GTA.
And that was just me
we're gonna have to
listening to it a million
rebrand.
times.
That's just Shane and I listening to it over and over again for a million times.
That's right.
Yeah.
We will cap the distribution list at the first 1,000 signups, by the way. There is a limit.
There's a limit.
I will say though, when you walk in, and I'm not a middle-aged man, like you did kind of advertise that really specific niche,
You're
but
very, very specific.
you really niched the hell out of that intro. I will say, I walked in, you guys were like, hey, and like, it was great. And we came in a little bit behind the, what was happening. And you guys were like, this is the charity, this is what we did, and talked about it. And it felt really exciting. And we were like, yeah, I'll have a beer.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Maybe only one because everyone's leaving.
And then you had 3.
We'll often have a sponsor step up and say, "I'll buy everyone's first beer."
Yeah.
Or I'll put a platter of appetizers at every table.
That's nice
and
that
buy
Matt
everyone's
Foster
first
does
beer.
that every time.
Yeah,
that's really
right.
nice.
No, that's why
Matt's
the
committed
venues
to
that
do
don't
that.
serve food.
Yeah.
Matt's committed.
No,
to
you
that
just got to go up there and be like compliments of the Riches Group and then send Mark the bill.
Just make sure Mark Richards is at the event or you're screwed.
Yeah. Or he's not there, so you can't object and just send him the bill.
That's
and
right.
it'd be good.
Sorry, this is an invoice.
Just steal his wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
My name is Mark.
Hello, I'm Mark Richards.
Awesome, guys. Well, that was great. So we usually end with rapid fire.
I know, this is when the heat...
I was unaware of this rapid
This
fire.
is when the heat turns on. You actually both get to do an independent rapid fire, so whoever wants to go first, it's the same question, so whoever goes first...
Oh.
And the only reason it's rapid fire is because I'll give away the first question. It's what's your favorite restaurant?
Yeah.
And one of the first people we had on, it took them like a minute and a half. So we're like,
They were frozen.
We're like literally just
I was
name
like,
any
just-
restaurant.
I felt like Alex Trebek on SNL. I was like, please just name any restaurant.
Yeah.
Period. Like
Is it
anywhere
always
in the
the same?
world.
Is it always the same rapid fire question?
Always the same.
Always
question.
the same
Yeah.
rapid fire.
Interesting. Okay.
Ideally East End. If
It's
not,
just about shining a light again on like East
Yeah.
End.
but authentic. So if your favorite somewhere else.
If you're
say
like,
it.
no, this
Yeah.
is my favorite. The first question is favorite restaurant. So like, if you're like, no, Tironi is my favorite restaurant. It's not in the East End. Screw on.
It is
Jenny.
what it is.
Yeah, like you just name that.
Yeah.
So who's gonna be first?
I'll go first because Rob probably needs more help.
All right.
He's
I don't
not
object to
quite-
I want to try to keep it quick. So if we do it in a reel, it's quick.
So it
Yeah.
feels like a rapid, and,
Well-
and then you should wear
Rapid fire answers or just
put on
rapid
your
fire
earmuffs.
questions?
Questions
Rapid fire
and
questions.
answers. So the
Yeah.
idea
A lot of
is.
time you have to go outside.
So the idea is if we can cut this into like a reel to promote it.
Okay.
Once we put it out,
Got it.
That's kind of so. If we can keep it to like 60
and then
seconds,
we say
that's
like
great.
Matt Foster,
Yeah.
100 Guys Who Care, Richard's Group, and then we tag all the restaurants and stuff.
Oh, that's
Like,
real cool.
Yeah, so
Right?
that's why it's kind of, we can keep it under a minute, that's great. If not,
so should
we'll figure it out.
Because my restaurant was not going to be East End,
Whatever you want.
Whatever
honestly.
you want, though, but we can
Whatever's
tag
in your
it.
heart, man.
and we'll tag it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a Subway out in Mississauga that always gave them extra.
I was
I
gonna say,
swear
yeah.
to God, if it's in Mississauga.
I know your heart's in Mississauga, so that's okay.
Oh.
No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
so we've got Matt Foster here, 100 Guys Who Care.
Yep.
From the Richards Group, sales representative extraordinaire. Rapid fire.
Rolling
Favorite
R's.
restaurant.
My favorite restaurant is Bruce Wine Bar in Thornbury, Ontario.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
best dish there.
They have a short rib dish that is real good.
Favorite-
and their pizzas are real good.
Okay, that's great. That's the whole reel now. Favorite clothing store.
Oh, I don't know. Pass.
Okay, gym.
Pass.
Favorite coffee shop.
I would say. Ooh, you should have passed these on to me before.
I should have
Well,
gone
no,
first.
this is not
Yeah.
that complex.
You make coffee at home, that's fine.
Yeah, I make.
Okay, what's your favorite burger?
My favorite burger, like favorite burger place.
Burger, like if you go to the best burger you've had.
Favorite burger place.
Yeah, my favorite burger place is blank. I'm blanking again.
Oh my God,
Slayer Burger, No Bull.
Comrade. Like there's so many great pizza.
I know.
What's the one? Dave Brown's place, Fearless Meats, has a great burger.
It is a good burger. It is a good burger.
Okay, best pizza.
Best pizza for sure.
Blondie's.
Blondie's.
Yeah. And what's the one that you get there? Because that's a really good one.
So it's the Epoch.
Epoch is really good.
It's real good.
Yeah. Favorite brewery.
Favorite brewery has got to be Black Lab.
Black Lab. Do you have a favorite bakery in the East End?
No,
Okay. Do you have a favorite pet store for your little pupper named
I don't.
Maggie?
No.
Okay. Favorite take. He's really shitting the bed here.
No, he's not. I'd rather you pass than take time. That's good. It's good.
Favorite takeout food, hungover edition.
it's got to be the. I got this. I just have a mental block.
995 Chinese.
No. Hold on. I got to think. It's the.
What type of food?
No, it's like right across.
Vivita?
No, it's right across the street from the office. The pub. The
Goof?
does the barbecue.
So am I?
Oh no.
Be-
Shane owns the place. Down the
Shane.
street.
Yeah. What's that one? What's that one called?
We've been there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
next to Dr. John's place.
Yeah.
Who's Dr. John?
We've gone
The eye
past
doctor.
we've gone past the reel, so we're done.
No, we can keep going. But
It's. I'm pulling it up. I'm going a total blank, and I shouldn't.
Yeah.
a barbecue place?
Yes.
Oh,
and
they
it's,
do barbecue. And
It's very
it's like
good.
a pubby
Breakwall.
breakwall.
Oh, Breakwall. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Breakwall's
they
great.
do
Yeah, yeah.
great. And
Super
favorite
good at
hungover
hangover.
or favorite takeout food not hungover.
Breakwall.
Breakwall. I was
Yeah.
thought you'd say Delina's because I've seen you there
We
for
love it
lunch.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
we
good.
love it.
And your favorite bar?
Favorite bar.
Like you go out, grab a pint. Favorite place.
I would go back to Black Lab, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
There you go.
Nice work.
Okay.
No, I could have
that
done
was
that
it.
better.
Yeah, yeah.
I could have done that better.
Do you have a favorite burger? Want to circle back? Favorite burger?
Favorite burger? Yeah.
You didn't like Slayer, though, but you had the Slayer Uber Eats, right?
Yeah, it's Labor
So it
Uber,
traveled.
Yeah. And it traveled.
Beaches
too.
Yeah, you can't travel.
I did the same thing.
Brewing?
Yeah, Peaches.
Oh
Brewing's
yeah,
good.
beaches.
Oh, yeah, good on beaches. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well,
There you go.
Rob's like such a.
It's a very high bar, isn't it? For me to.
Yeah. I think that was an hour.
Hold on, think about.
He's normally my mentor for these kinds of topics. Too.
That's right. Oh boy.
Okay, you ready?
Hold on.
I'm ready. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous actually.
You have coffees
Do
in
you
mind?
have a?
Can I answer Tim Hortons to every? Can I answer Tim Hortons to every question?
You can. There's a lot
I
of
won't,
foodie
don't.
Favorite
respect for you,
restaurant,
but,
Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
I actually don't
Favorite
have a
dish
pet.
there? Favorite dish there? Bagel
The
with
only,
cream cheese.
the only question that doesn't work for me is the pet shop.
I was going to say you don't have a pet, so then I don't ask you that question. I always ask people before. But,
Yeah.
okay, favorite restaurant. Okay, Rob, 100 Guys Who Care. We got him.
I'm ready. I think
All right. Favorite restaurant.
Beach Tree on
Beach
Kingston
Tree.
Road.
What's your favorite dish there?
The pork belly.
Ooh, favorite clothing
Beautiful.
store?
Mark's Workwear. If I'm speaking honestly.
So butch. Do you have a favorite gym?
Home gym.
gym.
COVID installed home
Nice.
gym.
Coffee shop?
Remarkable Bean on Queen.
Oh, so good. Best burger.
Beaches Brewing.
Beaches Brewing.
Yeah.
Best pizza.
Blue River.
Blue River. Okay, we're going to have to circle back. Bakery. Oh, yeah, bakery.
Bakery.
You don't have to.
You don't
Maybe Remarkable Bean too.
Yeah,
that would be our go-to
They've
bakery.
got good stuff. Favorite brewery.
Favorite brewery. It's not East End. It'd be Gillingham's out in Prince Edward County.
That's
where my
a
in-laws
great.
live.
I
Do you know it?
love
Yeah.
Gillingham. We've been to
That's
Gillingham.
east.
That's
It's
east.
east.
That's east.
That's east of here.
East
Really?
of Toronto. Favorite takeout hungover.
Oh, Biryani House Indian from Midtown.
Nice. Favorite takeout not hungover.
Either Vivitha
Yeah.
or Outrigger.
Nice. And
For
then
brunch.
favorite bar. Grab a pint.
Green Eggplant.
Green
Up on
eggplant.
Kingston Road.
Oh, Green
For
Dragon.
wings. Green, sorry, not Green Eggplant.
Green Dragon.
Both.
Although
Go
very
shoot
good
us. Yeah,
too.
both good.
Best
Yeah.
wings.
Green Dragon wings
that's
for
good.
wings.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Well
That's
done,
good.
sir.
Well
Well
done.
done.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
He nailed that.
Yeah.
Well, I had an extra
He
7
made you
minutes to
look
think about it.
bad.
I know.
I'm just joking.
You know what? I will say though, Foster jumped out on the ledge. Did
Cheers.
it first.
Cheers,
That was good,
guys.
yeah.
Well, thank you
know
for
what?
joining
Honestly,
us.
I thought it would be.
By the
so
way,
easy.
in fairness, Matt introduced me to 90% of my responses.
Yeah, but you,
Matt is
you could say
an
that you
honorary
articulated it.
foodie at 11.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. We really
Thank you.
appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules. If we wanted to know more about 100 Guys Who Care East, we go to Google, we type in 100 Guys Who Care, Toronto East, and we'll find your website. We can sign up, we can join in,
Yeah.
we can
all of
donate.
those things.
Yes, his
Super
website happens to be, I think, at et100guyswhocare.com, but just Google it and
But
you'll
we'll-
find it.
Yeah, and we'll link everything
And we'll
once
link
this goes
everything
up. And yeah, awesome.
Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, June 22nd, location TBD, sometime real soon.
Have you guys done Left Field yet?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Left Field's cool, man. I was there the other day.
Yeah.
And they got a nice.
It's
venue.
always been on Matt's mind as
Yeah,
a venue
yeah.
for us.
It's a good one.
really
It hasn't
cool.
worked.
It's
They
really
they
cool.
actually don't have the space for us.
They really?
Yeah,
Because they have like the garage now, and I mean, I guess they're busy. Like I went there the other day to pick
Yeah.
up beers. There was a lineup, but
Yeah, and they're like in drinking state, like it's not big.
no.
no,
Not for 50 to 100 people.
yeah.
That's what we're gonna get to.
Yeah. Oh, we were.
Yeah,
And we were there.
because this will come out before then. So I mean, you guys won't have it'd be lined on the street. So
Yeah.
We've got a million. We've got a million listeners. Shane and me, each 500,000 listens each.
awesome, guys. Yeah, that was fun.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Appreciate
really
it.
fun. It was
Cool.
really fun. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
All right, that's it.